The Houston Texans have to be the most indecisive team I've ever seen in my life. So the Houston Texans, for those of you who don't know and haven't watched any of my videos, currently have the number 2 overall pick in the NFL draft thanks to their last second win against the Colts. The Bears ended up having the first overall pick, but they traded it to the Carolina Panthers. Now, there was a rumor for a long time going that Bryce Young was going to fall to number 2 and that the Texans would go ahead and take Bryce Young. But now, every source, every report, every reporter is saying that Bryce Young is now going to go number 1 overall to the Panthers. So the Texans have a bit of a dilemma on their hands. It was initially thought after that report that Bryce was going number 1 that CJ Stroud, the quarterback from Ohio State, would be the pick. A lot of people's quarterback too. Makes sense for the Texans because they need a quarterback. But reportedly, the Texans are not as high on CJ Stroud as many people are. So that begs the question: what do you do? Do you take a defensive player? Do you trade down? And from what I've been seeing, but from what I've been reading from these reports, the Texans are being more indecisive than my mom picking where to go eat for dinner. I mean, you can just not make a choice. I mean, I understand in both cases, you have a lot of options and everything seems good, but you have to pick one. You have to narrow down on one. You have to do your research on one, right? You can't look at 500 menus. You kind of want to pick one or two restaurants and pick between their menus. And I think that's what the Texans are doing right now. They're kind of peeping their eyes into a lot of different places rather than narrowing down their scouting report. So you really need to, if you're the Texans, I think narrow it down to one or two guys. I've been seeing a lot of reports. The latest report is that apparently Will Levis is quarterback 2 on their board. And the Texans are obviously a quarterback needy team. Their starting quarterback right now is the Viagra swallower himself, Davis Mills.
Oh my God, bro.
Oh, hell no, man. What the fuck, man?
Who I don't think is god awful, but you're not going anywhere with Davis Mills. He's not a guy that's going to take you to the playoffs. But apparently, Will Levis is quarterback 2 on their board, which is to the surprise of a lot of people. And you might be saying, oh, well, maybe he's their second quarterback, but they might not take him. Well, a lot of the sports books have changed their odds to make Will Levis the favorite to go second overall. And I got to say, I don't always trust sports books because sometimes they fluctuate the market and everything, right? But I will say the people in Vegas know more than we do. They know more than the average Joe. And I'm not talking to you, the viewer watching this video. You're cool as fuck. But for the majority of people out there, they're just average Joes, right? And they don't know the inner workings of the league. They don't have connections to GMs, to scouts, everything like that. Vegas does. So I think the move to Will Levis being the favorite to be second overall pick is big. Additionally, I believe that the Texans, for some reason, just don't like CJ Stroud. I also wondered, there was a test that came out. I forget exactly its name. I can put it up on the screen right here if I'm not lazy enough. But there's like an IQ test kind of thing for quarterbacks, and reportedly CJ Stroud tested very poorly, and that could scare a lot of teams off. So, we'll see what that is with the Texans pick number 2. For the first time, I'm now thinking maybe Will Levis is the pick because that's what people seem to be saying. I've also been looking at Lance Zierlein, who is a big Houston guy. He knows his shit, and I've been reading, what he has to say about the draft and everything like that. The other thing is that you're thinking, okay, well, maybe if they don't go with a quarterback at 2, they'll go with the best defensive player available without off-the-field issues, and that will be Will Anderson. Well, apparently, the Texans might prefer Tyree Wilson over Will Anderson. So this is a whole thing right now. The Texans are a big mystery. I don't really know what the fuck is going on. I'm hearing reports, I'm hearing rumors, I'm hearing whispers, but there's nothing really concrete going on right now. So that's what I'll say. The other option is to trade down, but to be completely honest with you, I don't really know who they could trade down with, because if you think about it like this, right? Okay, number 3 is Arizona. They want to trade down as well, so they're not going to trade up. Number 4 is the Colts. The Colts are a division rival. They're not going to trade a top 2 pick to their division rival. Number 5 is Seattle. I really doubt Seattle trades up. That's really against their MO, and plus they have 2 first-round picks, and I think they want to keep it that way. I really doubt they trade up. That's number 5. Number 6, Detroit, I could see, but not really. I don't know. I don't know if Detroit's going to give up some of their assets to move up to number 2. Number 7 would be the Raiders. I could see the Raiders moving up. That'd actually be the team that I had in my last mock draft. The Raiders moving up to go get C.J. Stroud, or no, I'm sorry, yes, C.J. Stroud at number 3 with Arizona, so I could see it. Um, 8, the Falcons, kind of can't really see it. Number 9 is the Bears. The Bears aren't trading up; they just traded down. The Eagles probably aren't trading up. 11 is a division rival in the Titans, and then you pick again at 12. So I think the only two teams that make sense are Detroit and in Vegas, and I really don't know if Detroit or Vegas wants to give up the capital to go and make a trade up to number 2. I kind of doubt that. And if you're Houston, you obviously have to get premier capital for that number 2 overall pick. So I don't know. The Texans are in a really weird spot. If I was them, I would just say, if you don't like C.J. Stroud, okay, cool. Take Will Anderson. Take that guy. Um, take take the best blue chip defensive player available. You have a defensive head coach. There's a really good quarterback class next year. I think that's what you could do. Don't take a huge risk on a guy like Will Levis because again, we've seen that the curse of the number 2 overall pick, Trubisky, Zach Wilson, Will Levis, if he goes number 2. So I say be safe. Take Will Anderson. Take Will Anderson, not Will Levis. Um, but let me know what you guys think down below. I'm very interested to hear your opinion on what the Texans should do with the 2nd overall pick. As I said earlier, please subscribe. My life depends on it. I love you, and I will see you tomorrow. Have a good day.